Okay, so I thought today, since I've neglected to do this in the past, we will go ahead and we will do the Key versus Iron Sting. The Iron Sting is a good weapon. I mean, I don't know if this all damage includes bloom damage, and I also don't know if it's specifically for Nilou's blooms. So overall, this is just the easiest option for people to have access to. I have switched over my Kokomi to use an actual EM piece, so now she has the baseline extra EM from this. I could also go ahead and put Paradise Lost on her, but just because I don't want to have to do that, and also because I don't think I have HP options for that set yet. So first we'll see, the Key, and then we'll see just regular old Iron Sting. And I believe that this damage number is going to be pretty significant, since Kokomi on this team is going to be proccing most of the blooms, and generally we're not really going to get any buff from, Iron Sting's EM, right? That's the thing, right? You just want HP as much as possible. So let's go ahead and let's pop Nilou, right? Let's go ahead. We'll do this. All right. We'll do Nahida. We'll do, the Traveler. Okay. Don't do that. All right. All right. So, all right. Let's go ahead. Let's just pop this. All right. So 27,000 blooms, 29,000. 29,000 seems to be where we're going to be at. Yeah. 29,000. Basically on the verge of 29,000. That's where we're at. That's going to be the damage numbers that we're looking at for this. All right. Cool. And you can tell that with the EM piece, we are actually struggling to survive, sort of, with this. Okay, please don't do that. You could tell that we were actually struggling to survive, since I went ahead and I took off an HP here. I don't know necessarily which one would be better, HP or healing bonus. I could have swapped this one off instead, but I imagine, probably HP at this point. So now we're going to go ahead, we're going to swap off of the Key, and we're going to use Iron Sting, and we're going to see the damage difference between Nilou and her blooms. This is generally just for like the mega free-to-play players who have only really just started the game maybe, and just don't have sort of all the options available to them. Because I do believe that if you like a character enough, you should be willing to at least spend into their sword, or C1 is generally where I go at. Just weapon or C1, depending on how much you like a character. You can go for those.
I am never gonna financially recover from this.
But generally, I would say that if you're a mega free-to-play player who doesn't really have any base on your account, like you don't have Kazu or something like that, you probably only want to go for C1 or C0 Nilou, right? Alright, so we waited there for my stamina to recover, but this idiot wanted to target me, alright? So, alright, we'll do this. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's pop you, sure. Alright, here we go. And we are seeing 24,000 on the blooms, right? So yeah, definitely a decrease, 5,000 per bloom. I mean, that's going to end up being worse, there's nothing really I can say about it. It's just going to, this is worse, 5,000, almost basically a little bit more than 5,000. And then at this point, we're done, right? So a little bit more than 5,000 probably, because I'm pretty sure we were basically just at 30 or 40,000. Was it? What was the number? It was 29,000, right? Yeah, it wasn't 39,000. That would be insane. But yeah, overall, Nilou, she's pretty good, but at the same time, her weapon does add a lot of damage to her, so definitely something that you would go for. And I don't think, people talk about her C2 from what I've seen, and it's like, what, Hydro Res will be decreased, and then overall, I don't think that her C2 is worth going over her weapon. I mean, I'm pretty sure the mathematicians in the game will tell you that, right? Just overall, her weapon is a really good damage increase, just because 5,000 per bloom. I wasn't necessarily doing the most optimal rotation either. So yeah, that's the damage difference between, the Key and Iron Sting, which is like sort of her best in-slot weapon. I mean, her other weapons just don't really have that, right? Unless you're running like a DPS, Freedom Sworn isn't really going to do anything. Primordial Jade Cutter can, help out with the HP, but I mean, that's basically it, right? Freedom Sworn can help buff like a DPS possibly that we may see in the future. Just I don't know. I feel like what we're missing out of this team isn't necessarily like these Dendro players, because we have Traveler, right? We need an actual DPS character to be on field or something like that. Because right now, it has to be such a specific DPS character too, right? Because they have to be able to heal themselves and deal damage enough to where it's good damage and have EM scaling, and sort of, because Kokomi, she doesn't have EM scaling, but she is able to use EM, right? So, and that's just one piece, and she's already sort of crumbling, although I do believe that this would be easier. I think HP percent instead of, healing bonus would just help out more. But overall, there's not many ways, we can get a DPS, right? The only way is, like, either you put, like, another character who's able to do damage as like a sub DPS, I guess, sure, you know, support, you know, DPS sort of type deal, and you have them apply Dendro sort of, that's where I'm at right now. It's, you can either do one of the other two, and they have to be doing good damage, otherwise it's not a meaningful buff, right? So like Nilou, the thing is, people want to tell me that, oh, she's not power creep. Dude, Nilou is the DPS of this team. We take Nilou off this team, the bloom damage goes down to like 9,000, right? And it becomes less frequent. She is the DPS of this team. We're not going to run a DPS on this team whatsoever, and not a DPS that can get a lot of EM, right? Because the thing is, with Nahida, right, she's giving the person who is playing, I think, is it 250 EM, not 200? Yeah, it's 250 EM. She's giving the on-field character 250 EM. Because, so basically what I'm trying to say is just, like, Nilou is the DPS, right? You're building the team so you can survive around her bloom cores that deal damage to you, right? You're not going to slap a random DPS character onto this team and say, that's good. Like, if you have to build around your support that much, then yeah, she is a DPS at this point, right? She may not be on field, but she can still be the DPS, right? And that's basically what this team is, because who else is doing damage on this team? Kokomi's not, right? Kokomi's just sitting here and applying Hydro like she does, right? And then Nilou is sitting there buffing the bloom cores, you know, right? She doesn't necessarily have to be on field to be a DPS. Now, once we actually get proper DPSs that are on field and can sustain against bloom, maybe they just don't take damage from bloom, that is a possibility, then we can talk about her being considered a support. But no, Nilou is definitely a DPS. I would not say that she is a support character, because she just, you build the team around her. You literally have to build, yeah, this entire passive is just, hey, build the team around me, right? That's basically what this passive is. There are a lot of ways to increase the on-field character's elemental mastery. I mean, you have the sword here, which is, you know, doing that, and then you also have the 100 EM from here, and then you also have Nahida, right? That gives a lot of elemental mastery along with the double Dendro, right? So, you know, I can see it to where people are like, you know, oh, you can run like this character on, you know, as, you know, the main DPS, but it's just like, it doesn't work, right? It just doesn't. We don't have a character that's seriously there. Yeah, like Nilou, she is the DPS when this is her team, right? This is, I've seen people try and use Alhaitham, but Alhaitham is such a, like, not really that great DPS with just, you know, his Dendro attacks, because that's what this is. Like, that is literally this entire team. Like, if you just put Alhaitham here instead of, like, the Traveler or something, right? Alhaitham is going to just not do as much damage compared to when he has his Hyper Bloom, Quick Bloom, you know, has his, you know, aggravate damage also, right? It's just not gonna happen, right? I don't think it's aggravate damage. I think it's quicken damage or something like that. But yeah, Alhaitham's damage is gonna be nerfed, and then people talk about using Nevi, which is a possibility, but you need Baiju for that, which I can't test, and I don't know if Nevi's gonna be really doing that much damage either, since you're only doing the one reaction also. And then he wants a lot of buffers, right, basically. So yeah, we need a proper character who is sort of just exactly for Nilou and can properly buff this team to a place where it's going to keep up with Natalie. Otherwise, I don't know how much, you know, that's going to help. I've been rambling on for a while now. I might not even include the whole DPS rant, but you know, Nilou is definitely a DPS right now in the current game state, right? I don't think that you can call her a support, because you're not just throwing her onto a team and, you know, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to throw Nilou onto a bloom team. You're not doing that, right? You're just not. It just doesn't work like that, because you have to build a team around her. And like, I hated Fiorina as a support because you had to bring a single character that was a team-wide healer, which was a lot more restrictive before Sinyun came out, right? But I hated her, you know, being a support, because it's like, bro, why am I building my team around her? And then Nilou comes in and she's literally asking for 3 characters, right? So it's just like, yeah, so yeah, as much as I like playing Nilou, it's just like, she's a DPS. You can't, like, say that she's a support. It just doesn't work. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.